Welcome back to La Hougians. Bienvenue à La Hougians. We're talking Canada soccer and US soccer. Today, yes, is being recorded the day after because the game ended late, and I did not feel like making a late video that's just, as I said, making videos while I'm tired is not good. It's not good for anybody's sake, any creator's sake, I'm pretty sure. But first, for you guys' sake, I don't want to make a video all sluggish and tired and drowsy, so why not just start fresh? I mean, the game's stats and stuff are not going anywhere. Only thing is, you guys have to wait a little bit, but hopefully it's the inconvenience is hopefully it'll make up for this. So hopefully the content will make up for this, if I can say that right. But yeah, in this one we're gonna be talking about Canada's game against Trinidad and Tobago TNT, which in this one Canada blows TNT to bits. And yes, credit TNT, they did fight to begin with in the first half. I mean, they went into the locker room at halftime 1-0, right? But yeah, at the second half, all hell just broke loose, and yeah, it was pretty brutal, especially in the 67th minute. Starting with, it was basically one of those games where all it takes is one goal to break the camel's back, or one goal to break down the entire dam, and that's what this game was. Except Canada planted TNT all over the place and ended up blowing TNT to bits. Yes, I'm going to keep using that reference and that pun a lot because TNT. And plus, there's a lot of TNT fans that were talking trash. And so, yeah. I mean, I'll give them that they fought in the first half, but in the second half, it was all Canada. I mean, the whole game, honestly, was all Canada. I'm sorry, but yeah, their defense, it could only hold for so long, and it just got blown to bits. But before we talk about the goals and the game itself, let's talk about the starting lineup that was used in this one. And by the way, glad to see Christine Sinclair back, and she would score her 190th goal, which everybody had. A lot of people predicted in this game what happened, and if you predicted that, congratulations. You're a winner, gainer. And starting 11, we have Christine Sinclair, obviously the legend herself, Sheridan, Buchanan, Quinn, Rose, Revere. Hopefully, I've heard two kind of pronunciations of that name, so I don't know which one is preferred. Lawrence, Scott, Gilles, Becky, and Fleming. Hopefully I did not butcher any of the names besides Revere. At this point, as I said in the US video, it should not happen. So yeah, let's talk about the game itself. And the one main thing of the game I was looking for is, yes, we know Trinidad and Tobago is going to be difficult to break down for this Canadian attack. And how will they do so? And this kind of will this be like a carbon copy, like July 4th game against Haiti and the USA, where the USA kept being frustrated as Haiti just played the low block really well. Could TNT replicate the same? That was a question, and I was looking to see how Canada can work together, how they can break down the low block, and could they find a way despite getting frustrated? And yeah, we got some answers here. But as mentioned in the July 4th game for the USA, every game, including this one, will be played at altitude because it's in Mexico, and could very well have an impact on player performances. Not saying that if Canada or the USA has a bad game, that we should use those as an excuse, but just something to keep in the back of the mind. Just, yes, this game is being played at altitude, so if they're playing in a certain way that we're not really used to seeing, like if it's altitude versus no altitude, then maybe, I'm not saying it is, but maybe that could be a factor, a tiny factor. But no, as I said, no excuse. But yeah, also I should mention too is this is a correction from the USA game. First place finisher, instead of the two finalists normally in CONCACAF that get to the finals, it's the first place finisher will get an automatic bid to the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, while the second and I believe the third place finisher will play a home and away sequence to finish up the last spot. So it's just pretty significant. I should mention that even if, let's say, the USA and Canada cross paths in the finals, which they are expected to, obviously upsets happen, and Costa Rica, Mexico, or anybody can come out of nowhere. Jamaica can come out of nowhere. Any team in CONCACAF come out of nowhere and change this narrative, but should USA and Canada cross paths, only one of them will be guaranteed a spot at the Olympics, while the other one will have to play a playoff game, a home and away playoff. So that's something I should mention. It's not the traditional two just get to the final and you're fine. win or lose. It's win the thing and you get a bid. Rather, if you lose, you got to go to a playoff. So important, I should say. But nonetheless, those are the announcements I want to get off. Let's go to our goals, which, as I said, in the first half for Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, it was, you got to give credit. I mean, from Trinidad and Tobago, you look at that first half, that was really, really well. But the second half, which I'll get to later on, is just a different story. But first half, Canada was obviously expecting, as expected, to apply the pressure and cause havoc for this Trinidad and Tobago back line, which, and yeah, in 27 minutes, I mean, Trinidad and Tobago did everything they could, but it's Christine Sinclair with her, as I said, she gets her 190th goal here, and it's a perfect cross from Ashley Lawrence right to Christine Sinclair, who heads it home. Boom! It's a big goal for Canada, and Canada has used the first batch of TNT to break down Trinidad and Tobago's low block defense and score. So, massive, massive goal for Christine Sinclair at 39 years old. And yes, he is by far one of the oldest soccer players I know in general to just keep playing. Which, obviously most people retire around 36, 35, maybe even sooner. But the legend, one of the GOATs of Canada, keeps playing and she keeps doing a phenomenal job. She keeps doing what everybody knows about. She knows how to do best, scoring goals. In the 32nd minute, we don't have a goal, but we do have a VAR check, and there's two challenges for TNT on Sinclair and Janine Becky, and the verdict: penalty for Canada. Jesse Fleming was stepped up to take this, and she skies it up over the bar. It actually nicks the bar and goes over and up behind the goal. But it's a big let off for the SoCal Warriors, as she ended up, Janine Becky, or let's just say Jessie Fleming, the penalty taker, she ended up picking her foot up as she was about to strike, so she ended up leaning back. And as many know, if you lean back and you shoot, the ball's going to go over the net. And most of the time, that's exactly what happened here. So she picked up her foot and it went over the net. And literally 30 seconds later, she would have a carbon copy immediately. And she does it again. And once again, this time it's on a Canadian counter rather than a set piece or a penalty kick. But yeah, just two good chances for her in the span of 30 seconds. And unfortunately, she couldn't finish. She couldn't capitalize it. But yeah, maybe she'll get something later on. I mean, I'm sure she'll have plenty of chances. In the 37th minute, Janine Becky is fouled in the box, but there is no penalty call. And it looked like Belgrade took out Becky's leg clearly there, and there's no penalty this time. But I'm not going to dispute that one, as, I mean, hey, the ref already gave a penalty. I didn't expect her to give another one. But this one looked clear and obvious, but it is what it is. Halftime comes, I said, for the most part, TNT, other than one goal, they play really, really well. I mean, they've really held off Canadian counterattacks, Canadian attacking chances, and so far the dams hold for TNT. But in the second half, Canada plants some more TNT, as we're about to get to. And that starts in the 67th minute, where it's Becky to Fleming, who lays it off to Julia Rosso, and she finishes it. Boom! What a beautifully executed goal and play from the Canadians. And it's 2-0 over the SoCal Warriors. Uh-oh. And at this point, the dam breaks. And in the 79th minute, this is where everything just starts to flow in for Canada. It's Vanessa Gilles who lays it off to Janine Becky on the ground for a ground cross, which finds its way to Julia Grosso again, and boom! She scores, but she shimmies to the left, shimmies to the right, and scores past the keeper into the back of the net. Another blow to the TNT dam of defense. And what another great goal for Julia Grosso, and it's now 3-0 Canada. It doesn't stop there, as in the 84th minute, Janine Becky, who runs down the sideline and squares it center to Jessie Fleming, and she shoots, and boom! Jessie Fleming finally gets her goal. As remember, she had the 2 missed opportunities earlier on, but she finally breaks one. You know she would get one, and it's now 4-0 for Canada. And in the 86th minute, Julia Grosso streaks down the middle of the field with a perfect through ball to Janine Becky, and boom! Canada scores a 5th goal. It's 5-0 for Canada and Les Rouges. And all of a sudden, all the goals are flying in. But wait, that's not all. In the 91st minute, Janine Becky for Jordan Heidema, and boom! Jordan Heidema scores, and it's 6-0 for Canada, just like that in the blink of an eye. And TNT, unfortunately, gets blown to bits by Canada's use of TNT themselves. And it's the end of the match, and Canada, as I said, uses TNT to break down TNT's low block defense and try out towards their first victory in the campaign and their Olympic title defense. Final score was the 6 to the hard-fought, the good of Trinidad and Tobago. Now we go to our stats you can just see by the stats. Canada obviously expected to peppers Trinidad and Tobago 37-1. 13 of those 37 shots were on target. The keeper for TNT was phenomenal. She came up really big. While none of the shots for Trinidad and Tobago were on target. 74% possession to 26% possession. This was expected. Trinidad was content with letting Canada just sit back and hold the ball and try and break them down. But it held. But second half just hurt, especially late in the second half. 590 passes completed, 222 passes completed. 86% pass accuracy to 54% pass accuracy, 11 fouls to 9. No yellow card for Canada, but 1 to Trinidad and Tobago. No red cards, 3 offsides for Canada, none for TNT, and 8 corners to none for Canada. But yeah, pretty much, yeah. Once again, you got to give credit to TNT. I know the result sucks for them, and if you're a TNT fan watching this, you guys did play well. Especially in the first half and a little bit of the second half too. It was just, unfortunately, once that one goal, the second goal came in, everything just broke loose. And that's pretty much where TNT just gave in. And just Canada just cracked the code. Once they found the code, they were all up in TNT's business. Like it was nobody else's business. And yeah, that was... Good job for the Canadians for finding that and breaking down the code, but TNT, unfortunately, I know that's a stinger. But look forward. Hey, you played arguably the best team, one of the best teams in CONCACAF, and now you know where you stand. For a while, it was 1-0, but now it was 6-0. But there's a lot to learn that you can take away from that if you're TNT. Especially the first half. Just looking how you played a low block against Canada and held their shape fairly well. Couple mistakes there, including the penalty and the goal by Christine Sinclair. But hey, it's Christine Sinclair, and she's tough to mark. But other than that, TNT played really well. Someone even said, "Oh yeah, don't sleep on TNT. They're really good." Sure enough, yeah. They looked really well. And unfortunately, Canada just found a way. And yeah, we'll go talk about Canada. Canada just hang in there, and credit to Canada too for just hanging in there, not getting as frustrated as I thought they would have. Especially playing a low block, and after that first half, nothing really went their way other than the Sinclair goal. But nonetheless, they dug in and they found a way, starting in the 67th minute, and the goals just began to fly into the back of the net. And yeah, many people blame the Trinidad and Tobago goalkeeper for her lack of position and all that. Yes, okay, she had a couple mistakes, but look how many saves she had. She had a lot. I don't know. I didn't see the save stats, but I just remember she had a lot, and she had a lot of work, and she kept them in the game. If she didn't come up big in the first half as she did, then yeah, the score line could have easily been 9, maybe 10-0 for Canada. So, she had a really good game, so I wouldn't throw her under the bus. And yeah, many people are gonna throw her under the bus, but she did all she could. And so did the Trinidad and Tobago defense. They just ran into a grinder. They just ran into a grinding machine. And Canada is, they're ranked 6th in the world. I know rankings don't matter in the FIFA world of things, but TNT. You do all you can, and the effort was really great. I know maybe you can say after the second goal they just kind of just gave in, and really everything just flew into the back of the net for Canada. But Canada looked really well. Just for their first game, they really grew into it. They really found a way. And this is not going to be the first time, obviously, that they're going to face a low block. As going on, they're going to play Costa Rica and Panama, which Costa Rica might attack sometimes too. As Costa Rica, They might be the other team to get out of the group. But Panama, we're going to see how they play. They might play a low block too, like Trinidad and Tobago. So that'll be another team that's going to be tough to break down. So we'll see how both those teams play. But overall for Canada, I mean, this game was all about just blowing TNT to bits, the back line especially, and yeah, they did that, and really, really happy that especially Jessie Fleming finally found her goal. I know she was going through her troubles, but hey, as a striker says, you got to have short-term memory. You know, if you miss if you miss easy shots, miss the old wide open shots, you need to forget about them and just say I'm going to make the next one. She did that and she scored and helped Canada get to a massive 6-0 win over Trinidad and Tobago to open up their campaign. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say is Canada found a way to break down the low block, and yes, it took a lot of time. It took a late game for it to figure out, but better late than never. And look at the scoreline and 3 points they've gotten, and that's all that matters. They got the win, and I'm sure, obviously, as I said in the U.S. game in Haiti, I'm pretty sure the coach is gonna be looking to clean some stuff up. As obviously, your tournament, you start off with maybe your worst game, you start to progress, but she's gonna do that, and I'm pretty sure everything is gonna go fine. But if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Remember to hit the bell notification now when any video is uploaded or posted. And tell your friends that Canada uses TNT to blow TNT's low block.